Hi everybody, this is the update for July 6th. Kind of all day. I knew that Mike was going for his CT today because it was put off yesterday. So I called this morning just to make sure that I knew when that was happening, because I'm the queen of bad timing and generally show up, when he goes for procedures, etc. So I went there and spent about an hour and a bit with him before he went for his CT, and he was on the spontaneous setting, like spontaneous with pressure support setting on the respirator. When he woke up and noticed that I was there, his blood pressure started to climb a little bit. He tends to do that, and breathe a little bit more and try to mouth words, and that's really tough because it's hard. But he did mouth "I love you," and after I told him I loved him, so that was really wonderful. And there was a lot of commotion because they were trying to get him down for the CT. And then Dan came and visited. They were supposed to call me when he came back from the CT, and of course they didn't. And then Dan stayed for the day so I could get a few things done, try to read through some things and prepare for some things, and next steps, etc. When I went in this evening, he seemed pretty sedated, but then when they turned the lights down, he opened his eyes right away, and I spoke to him and stuff, and his blood pressure, like, it was lower to begin with, and then it started to go up, and the nurse said to me, "Oh boy, he really does know that you're here and knows your voice and stuff," because his heart rate doubled since I started talking to him, and his blood pressure started going up into the higher 160s, and so I kind of backed away for a bit, because when I got there, they'd turned him and all sorts of stuff, and he was satting quite low in the 85, 86, which is unacceptable. And then the ECMO specialist, because he'd been on 60% FiO2 on the ECMO and 60% on the respirator for last couple of days, and then he bumped him up though to 80% on the FiO2 on the ECMO, and then they put in a new line in his neck, a new central line, but then the doc who did it said it went the wrong way, so he had to redo it, and so he said just visit with him for a little bit more and then I'll redo it. But of course I don't want his blood pressure to be up, because then it's just, I don't know. But it seems like they've gone up on sedation a lot, so I understand for the CT and whatnot, but he's back up on 10 of hydromorph, 7 of Versed, 8 of Versed, and he's also up on Precedex to 1.2, and he was on, maybe it's even more than that, he was on 0.8 earlier, and then the day before they had him off Precedex. So again, it's kind of like, one day we're doing one thing and then another day we're doing something completely different, and I don't even know anymore. But his work of breathing is just sort of getting kind of rougher. His chest doesn't look like, it's not even. The nurse told me that he has some subcutaneous emphysema at the site of the chest tube, which is not great. So it's leaking around the area, and there's air getting into the subcutaneous tissues. I asked her if she could try to seal it up or do something about that, and eventually, as long as he's not uncomfortable, I guess it's not too bad, but it's not great either. It'll just become reabsorbed over time, I guess. But so really thinking about next steps, and he was weighed today finally. So they also had to adjust his medications because, of course, they've been giving him medications based on his previous weight of 150 kilograms or whatever, and he has lost 30 kilograms. So now, like, they have to adjust everything. But again, I don't know why they wouldn't really think of that and why that's important, but so I don't know. The nurse that was on tonight had never looked after him before, so she didn't really have a whole lot of anything. And plus, I think she knew stuff but didn't really want to say, because how would she know that he had subcutaneous emphysema if she hadn't read the report? But then was saying to us if there was anything, urgent, the doctor would have come and talked to us already and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so doing research on transplantation, kind of just trying to look ahead and what I can try to do now, I guess. Because I feel like, everything's so time sensitive that I always kind of have to try to be one step ahead, even though I never know anything. Like, I feel like I don't, like, I know more than I did, but from just recently with the x-rays and certainly the CT and stuff, like, I'm not being told things. And Danny, said today and yesterday he really feels like he's not being told things. So I think it's just because they're so used to doing stuff in this particular ICU or in any ICU, maybe, that they just do and they don't inform. But that's where we sit right now. So I will give an update after we talk to the doctor tomorrow. I've really been having some friends help me with looking for different studies and research articles, and I know that there's a traditional Chinese medicine that talks about reversing pulmonary fibrosis, but of course, again, the two worlds don't talk, and so the likelihood, unless I find some really good research studies, but I'm sure they're probably going to poo-poo their own research studies anyway, like the allopathic world is going to poo-poo the research articles of the naturopathic world. And then there is a drug company in Vancouver that the chief medical officer of the company said for the most, like, the attending physician to reach out and he will see what he can do to help medication wise. There's also a study in the US that looked kind of promising, but again, it's in the US and I don't know. There's a study going on right now, but I don't know if it includes people in Canada. So I'm guessing not, because I filled out the form asking to speak to somebody and I had to put in just a bunch of numbers for the zip code because it wouldn't accept ours. So I did put in the notes that were from Canada, and I just did like a bunch of numbers. I should have used 90210. That would have been funny. But anyway. So yeah, Mike's lost a lot of weight, like muscle mass, so they tell me. But anyway, so I'm again trying to look ahead towards transplantation, even though we were denied once, but that's based on his BMI. And as I mentioned, they hadn't weighed him, so they were going by his weight that he was, 150 kilograms plus. When the particular doctor was on, when we arranged that, Mike, I think I mentioned before, happened to be up 18 liters in fluids, so that put him at a BMI of like 44. So even larger than he was when he started this whole thing. So now his BMI is below 36. And yes, he has a lot of muscle wasting, but looking from what I can tell from other post-COVID double lung transplants that have been done. There was one in Ontario that I'm aware of, and 4 at the Vancouver General in the last 2 months. So I'm trying to see if maybe he might be a candidate there, or maybe if the team here just wants to consult with the doc in Ontario and the doc at Vancouver General, which is Dr. Yee. Sounds like a brilliant man. Just to kind of see if maybe, I don't know, maybe they want to be the Alberta heroes. I don't know. But I'm just looking ahead. Maybe that's not what we need, and maybe there's, I don't know what the talk with the physician's going to be tomorrow, but I'm just trying to look ahead for time's sake. So that's it. I love you all, and I'm sorry my updates have been kind of sporadic. I'll try to do better, but it's getting increasingly tough right now. That's all. Stay safe, and we'll talk soon.